And she is an elementary specialist from BJU Press, and she's going to talk to us about teacher tools online, which I know some of you may already have, and if you don't, I have no doubt your supervisor is willing to invest in that for you. You just need to speak to them so they can get that done for you. So.
Hey, thank you so much. I am National Consultant for BJU Press. I started in Christian education about 30 years ago, so I've taught 3rd grade, 2nd grade, 1st grade, K-5, K-4, so my heart really lies with that lower elementary age group. I've had the opportunity to teach here in the United States as well as abroad. I worked for 5 years in education in England when my husband's job was transferred there, both in the public and private sector of education over there, as well as most recently in China. I spent 2 years training Chinese nationals in the use of BJU Press materials and being the administrator of a small underground Christian school over there. So the Lord has given me a lot of opportunities to work in education over the years, for which I'm thankful. And for the last 2 years, I have been a national consultant for BJU Press. So if I say anything today and you have a question or you get back in your classroom and you're trying to do something, my email address is cdickens@bjupress.com. Feel free to send me an email. I will find out the answer for you to your question, and if I can't, I will ask somebody until I find it out for you. So feel free to let me know if you need anything going forward in the future. All right, I always like to start out my sessions the same way, and that's by asking you all the question, why? Why did you go into teaching? What made you want to become a teacher? So I'm going to just give you about a minute, and we'll do a little elbow pair and share activity here. So if you could talk to the people around you and try to succinctly say why you chose teaching. Okay, I'll give you a minute or so to do that. Maybe some of y'all can hear up down there.
So I found Another 30 seconds or so. Okay. All right, so hopefully you found out some information from the people around you, why you chose education as a career, why you chose to go into teaching. Is there anybody that's willing to share with the entire group why you chose to go into teaching?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question. I'm a poor student.
Why did you go into teaching? Would you like to answer for everyone? Would you like to share with all of us?
Sure, why I went into teaching?
Yes.
Because the Lord called me into the ministry.
Okay, so the Lord called her into the ministry of it. As I'm traveling around, I get a lot of very interesting answers to this question. Some people say that they wanted to make a difference in the world. Some people say that they love seeing those light bulb moments where they've taught something and a child understands it because they've taught it. Some people say they felt like they were called by God to go into teaching. Some people say that they didn't want to go into teaching. Teaching called them, something along those lines. I actually went into teaching because of a teacher. So it was my 3rd grade teacher. Her name was Miss Campson. And I really feel like she changed my life. And teachers have the power to do that. And ever since I stepped out of the classroom and got this job for a textbook publisher, I think it's very interesting that no teachers ever answer that question for me by saying, well, I went into teaching because of a textbook. Like, none of you all ever say, I had this really great textbook in science and it just made me want to like go out and teach that information to other people. You know, BJU Press really does know that the teacher is the key in the classroom. And our textbooks are just tools in the hands of teachers so you all can accomplish what you would for your classes. So it's our desire at the Press to provide you all with the tools and the resources and the training that you need so that your subjects can be successfully taught. And because I coerced you into sharing when nobody else would, I have a little teacher is the key in the shape of a USB with the BJU Press logo on it for you. Thank you so much. All right, so one of those resources that BJU Press has created for teachers is TTO. So this is a little introductory video about TTO, what's out there, and I always get impatient, so I don't want to click again. Otherwise the guy's like mouth is off from his, so let me see if I can get it. I don't want to be, there we go. Oh, there's no down volume. That's so odd because I just checked it. Oh, is it going through Brian's thing now? Oh, I'm so sorry. I just checked this volume and we had volume. So let me check it again. Now it's saying that it's denied. Well, I know it'll. Let's see if we get any noise this way. It's not going to be very loud.
This is why I became a teacher. The energy, the mentoring.
I'll make it big. This is a technology session, so
This is every day in my class, so
that's right. So you guys can actually feel for me here.
This is why I became a teacher.
I don't
The
ever use
energy,
Brian's.
the mentoring, the students. I definitely did not become a teacher for this. Writing tests or making PowerPoints. Guys, can you give me just 2 minutes? Teacher to teacher, wouldn't it be nice to have an assistant so that you can focus on what matters most? Well, that's why I use Teacher Tools Online by BJU Press, the digital assistant for teachers. Teacher Tools Online saves me at least an hour every day. It's an online resource library that matches with our textbooks to provide PowerPoints, tests and quizzes, lesson plans, visual aids, lots of videos, and it connects you with teachers across the country so you can compare notes. When I log in and click resources, the portal lets me quickly navigate through my courses. Now, I'm a huge American history nerd, so let's go there. It's my favorite class, and I'm always looking for new ways to teach it. Tomorrow we've got the Battle of Gettysburg. I'd still like to find a short video to show in class. I'll open the Teacher Resources tab, Chapter 14 video, and here we go, a 5-minute video ready to play. This will really draw in my visual learners well. The nice thing is, I didn't have to spend 30 minutes looking for it. Now we also have a quiz, so I'll open the Exam View Test Bank, pick 5 questions, check the PowerPoint for lecture, and done. Now, of course, I'll want to tweak all this, but it's so helpful to have most of it done already. The PowerPoints especially are so much better than anything I'd have time for. And everything is created by teachers for teachers, so I know I'm getting top quality content and assessment for my students. Last thing, look at this. Shop Talk. It's an online community that lets me find other American history nerd teachers at Christian schools across the country to trade ideas. For example, I wanted to do this cool Civil War primary source assignment, but I couldn't figure out how to structure it. I posted it on Shop Talk, and another teacher from a different time zone who had done a similar project jumped in on the thread, gave some fantastic pointers, and the assignment turned out exactly as I hoped. Everything's online, of course, so I can work off-site. At the end of the day, it's connection with my students that keeps me excited about teaching. Teaching online and doing more of that. Use my digital assistant so I can focus on what matters most.
Okay, so Teacher Tools Online actually is BJU's press answers to customers saying, hey, we really would like to have all our resources in one place. You know, it's really great if you have a teacher's edition, or if you have a CD, or you have resources online on bjupress.com, but sometimes teachers find that overwhelming because it's like, I've got to go to this place, I've got to go to this place, I've got to go to this place. So having everything all in one place is one of the purposes of Teacher Tools Online. Like the gentleman said, all of the resources are aligned right with the BJU Press textbooks. You can have access to any grade level and any subject on Teacher Tools Online just for you know, one price. Now, one of the things that we do have there is editable PowerPoints for you to use in your classroom. So let me start out by saying Teacher Tools Online is available for most subjects and at most grade levels. So predominantly kindergarten through 12th, almost all the basic core subjects you're going to have Teacher Tools Online. So English, reading, history, science, math, we have Teacher Tools Online. It has been woven in for Bible now in a couple of grade levels. There also is some options coming for kindergarten. So our new Focus on Fives will be released this fall, and when we do that, Teacher Tools Online will be updated to include a lot of those same resources for kindergarten as well. So we do not offer it for spelling, we do not offer it for handwriting, and then like I said, Bible is kind of just depending on that grade level. So the PowerPoints are one of the most popular aspects of Teacher Tools Online. They kind of vary according to grade level, so I'm just going to show you some samples here so you can see. This is geometry, 10th grade. So you can see it's just totally done for you. All those geometric drawings and things that you have to do for math with all the different symbols. So it's just something that matches up with the lessons and what you're going to be working on. I think this is an example from 8th grade American Republic. So if you teach history, it's kind of done in an outline form for the kids. At this grade level, they're kind of really working on taking notes for the first time in junior high and working through those things. If you teach on the elementary level, this is the example from 2nd grade English, so you can see it's much more child-friendly. And this is the one from pronouns, so it has the little characters from BJU Press, and it follows with what's going there in the teacher's edition that you're supposed to be explaining.
Are they printable?
The PowerPoints? I assume so. I don't know. Actually,
I know I can
nobody's
print
ever asked me that.
and I have visual learning students. I teach special needs, and they
Okay.
like having exactly
The PowerPoint.
what I show them.
I will say, I want to say off the top of my head, yes, they are printable. Nobody's asked me that. I know like our PDFs of our teacher's editions are not printable, so I would have to find out for sure whether they were
I
locked
didn't know
or
if they were
not.
copied.
Right, so,
Thank
good question,
you.
but
So
nope,
you
no.
can edit and then save it to your own?
Yes, they are
Okay.
totally editable, so you can change
Sure.
them,
Probably
add
can
things to
copy
them,
that.
take slides out, add additional practice slides. Any way that you want to edit them, you are definitely free to do that, and they're yours. So that's what makes me think they probably are
Yes.
printable, because if you're saving them to your So I will say, when I worked in China, I really wanted the teachers to have as many resources as possible, so we got them access to Teacher Tools Online. Most of the teachers that went over there and worked for us for 2 years, most of them weren't even like trained teachers. A lot of them were international studies majors, people that wanted to live abroad. And so I felt like Teacher Tools Online would be a great resource for them, and we got it for them. And I realized that they had so much going on at the beginning of the year that they didn't really log in and see what all was out there. So the second year, I actually sent it all to them again and said, all right, during orientation week, you've got to open your computer and you got to show me your Teacher Tools Online account and you're logged in. So I made sure that at least they knew what was out there. And within 2 hours, the high school history teacher came by my office and he was like, I was a fool for not opening this last year. He said, I've had to make so many PowerPoints. You know, we had all ESL students. He said, really, it would have saved me so much time. So those PowerPoints are very helpful. They're a base, and like I said, you can edit them and make them be what you want them to be. Then you can also find your lesson plan overviews here on Teacher Tools Online. Once again, these are downloadable, totally editable. They do have different topic headings depending on what the writing team has decided. This is from elementary science, and they've included their objectives and the biblical worldview shaping. So if you're ever required to submit objectives for anything or want a copy and paste version of the objectives, you can get those right off of Teacher Tools Online. This is 8th grade Earth Science 5th edition. They included the teacher resources as well as their essential questions and content objectives. So like I said, they do vary by what the author teams have chosen to put on. This is American Literature, which is a high school literature class. I think this is good because it's actually giving you some pacing here. So if you have new teachers, we're going to spend 2 days on this lesson 2 days, this lesson will only take 1 day, you know, that type of thing to help. The biblical integration is included in there as well. Some of the writing teams have chosen to do that, so you might find that interesting as well. Another aspect of Teacher Tools Online is you can get all of the artwork. You know, BJU Press is in the small town of Greenville, South Carolina, but it's really not that small of an organization. We have our own printing division, so we actually print all the books, bind all the books, ship all the books. We actually have a content development team that writes all of the products. We have a marketing team that markets those, and we have an art and design team. And part of the art and design team's department, is to actually go in and create a lot of the visuals and a lot of the artwork that you see in our product. And because we own that, there's no copyright problems with it because you all can feel free to use it. Now you can't post it on the internet, but you can use it to make different type things for your classroom, like sometimes classroom newsletters, you might want to use some of the artwork. Sometimes you might want to drop that artwork into a smartboard presentation, like in 3rd grade we studied the stages of metamorphosis for the frog, so I just took the artwork, dropped it right into my Mimeo. I was able then to have the kids do a drop and drag activity where they were ordering the correct stages of metamorphosis, which was what was going to be on our test on Friday. And I loved it because it was the exact picture that was in the textbook is the picture that they're practicing with is the picture that's on their test on Friday. So there's no confusion there, you know, with the students. If you teach history and you want some of those maps, any of the maps and things, or charts and graphs are right there as part of this artwork. So you can go in there, grab that. Then you could put this on a Vimeo board or a smart board and you could annotate on it, record it, and use it however you see fit. Video segments. There's over 4,000 video clips on Teacher Tools Online. So I'll just be totally upfront with you. Some of them I love and some of them I'm like, really? As a teacher. So they are in the process of updating these. So if you get, you know, if you look at one subject and you're like, ugh, they might not all be like that. So who teaches 3rd grade? Okay, y'all are my favorite. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so 3rd grade teachers, like I love the ones that we had for science and math, but I didn't really use the ones for reading or English. So, you know, there's just different subjects have the different video clips. And it is really nice because it's not something that you're having to worry about, like strange advertisements popping up on YouTube. You're not having to search 30 minutes, you know, for a video out there. This one is from the elementary math product, and this is Dan and Stan, and they're going to use math in real life.
Wow,
Would y'all just bear with me and let me fix it? I just feel, I hate to make you wait, but I know, I actually know, I think I know what's happened, and I'd rather just fix it so you can hear, even if it takes. So talk amongst yourselves. I'll like hone you in again in a minute.
They probably already haven't announced it. So it's
There's like 3 or 4 things that have to share.
I don't have
Did you look at preferences, the sound?
Alright, I got it, guys. Believe it or not. Alright, so this is Stan and Stan, and they're going to use the math problem solving plan. I think maybe it was just a chord. I had to shorten it.
Wow, look at that thorn patch. It was real interesting, wasn't it, Stan? Good thing we brought along those bandages. Yeah. Let's see, we started with 350 bandages. I used 10, and you used 125. Well, how many bandages are left? Well, we could count them. No.
Well, we use the problem-solving tip to figure it out.
The question is, how many bandages are left?
I think we need to solve a different problem first.
Oh, how many bandages were used? Well, let's see. You used 10, and I used 125.
What operation do we need to use?
Addition. So we can find out how many bandages in all were used.
The equation is 10 plus 125.
That equals 135 bandages.
Now for our second problem. We take the number of bandages, 350, and subtract the number we used, 135.
350 minus 135 equals 215.
Great. We'll need them if we run into any more thorn patches, or rose bushes, or maybe if we sit on any porcupines.
Porcupines?
Okay, you can see it's just a simple video clip. It's demonstrating these guys using math in real life, which is one of the mantras for BJU Press Math. And I found out just how much my kids really did enjoy these video clips because it was the very last chapel program of the school year. So we walk in and everybody's supposed to be, sitting quietly waiting for chapel to start. And sure enough, there goes my table. I'm like, guys, I know there's only 4 days of school, but hold yourselves together. And it reaches me, Mrs. Dickinson, on the stage, it's Dan. And so I look up on the stage and I thought, that guy really does look like Dan. And so I slipped backstage and we had a guest speaker that was doing a puppet workshop and I'm like, excuse me, are you Dan from Dan and Stan? And he was like, actually, yes, I am. Are you kidding me? I said, my kids have been watching your videos all year. I was like, they recognize you. They're so excited. I was like, we come down and meet them. He was like, sure. He came down. They were like, who is pen and paper? Let's get his autograph. It was so funny. So the kids really do enjoy those video clips. All right, another thing that you can find on Teacher Tools Online is a PDF version of your teacher's edition. Back to the videos. They are now downloadable. That's something that has come within the last year that's new that I love because when I was in the classroom, it seemed like anytime an administrator was sitting in the back and I was showing a video clip, what did it say? Buffer, buffer, and I was just like, God. So now you can download them, put them right into your PowerPoint presentations, and you have them ready to go. So PDF for the teacher's editions, no more lugging. If you teach elementary and you've got 7 different subjects and you have to lug home all those teacher's editions, you don't have to do that. You can just download it right from your home computer. You can download it right onto your school computer. You can't print it, but you can download it. And it's set out the exact same way. This is 3rd grade math, I think. And you can see it's just set out and it looks exactly, it still has the colors, still has the work text pages, everything. It's just a PDF version of that teacher's edition. And then any of the products that come with a Teacher Toolkit CD. So if your product, when you open your teacher's edition, has a Teacher Toolkit CD, you can find those resources here on Teacher Tools Online. So it doesn't change. Don't think when you open Teacher Tools Online, oh, it says quizzes. Those are the same quizzes that are on your CD. It's just all your resources in one place. I don't even have a disk drive on my computer anymore. So being able to access it through an online way is so much more convenient than having to put that disk in, let it load, wait for it. And then a lot of times you run home and you're doing something at home and you want to check the CD and where is it? It's back in your disk drive at work. So this way you can go right into Teacher Tools Online, download it, and have access to that. Those do vary by subject and grade level, but some of the things you'll find on those are additional instructional aids. So as part of our reading too, there's lots of word work, vocabulary, book activities, comprehension activities that are out there, assessment tools, work text answer key, all of that can be found out there on Teacher Tools Online. I loved having access to the teaching visuals. So these were electronic versions of your teaching visual packs. So if your subject has a teaching visual pack, you can go grab that chart, drop it right in, and then show it to your class in that way. If there's quizzes that are out there already created for you, once again, you can access those. Or any type of rubrics that you need for grading, you can grab those right off of Teacher Tools Online. This is a mid-chapter assessment for 6th grade math. You can access those And then another option is your test answer keys. So you can't actually access your tests on Teacher Tools Online, but you can access the test answer key. So lots of times it's Friday, we have a tendency to do assessments and testing on Friday, and you're in a hurry and maybe you're running to soccer or wherever, and you grab your test and you get home and you finally have a chance to look at those on Sunday night, and when you do, you realize, oh, the answer key is back in my file cabinet at work. So what do? You take the smartest kid in the class's paper and you start from there.
Oh yeah.
I love it that everybody laughs because I know I'm not the only one. So you can actually download that test answer key and print it right off at home, and then you have access to it. BJU Press also provides e-textbooks for a lot of our products. 75 of our products have e-textbooks, and you as the teacher get a complimentary copy of that textbook, even if your students don't use e-textbooks. So through your Teacher Tools Online account, you would get a complimentary copy of it. So what you're going to find is it's the actual textbooks. So like in science, it's the textbook, not the activity manual. In reading, it's the textbook, not the activity manual. So just so that you're getting an idea of what you can access there. You get one free copy for a teacher. You can use it online. You can download it. If you actually go in through, it's called Vital Book Source, Vital Bookshelf, Vital Source Bookshelf, there we go. And you use their app. There's even a way that you can play those textbooks aloud. So if you have ESL kids or kids that are struggling, and you have it set up like that on your device, you know, they could actually read, and somebody actually would be reading it to them out loud. Yes?
Can you say that again? Where do I find that?
Okay. You have to download the e-textbook first.
Okay.
And then you have to open it up through the Vital Source Bookshelf app. All right. So,
Source
Shelf.
Bookshelf.
Right. So like when you download your e-textbook, it will automatically open in Vital Source. But when I was looking for it, I couldn't find it. So like I went online and Googled and said, how can I get this to read out loud to me? You know, text to speech. And it came and it said you could only do it through the app. So the other day I did successfully open the Reading 3 textbook, and it did read it out loud to me. So if your device has that capability, yes.
I have another question as well. Let's say that I download my one free teacher copy onto whatever, and then I'm not at that computer. Can I still access that e-textbook online?
Yes, you can access it through your Vital Source account.
Okay.
So as long as you can log in on another device to your Vital Source. Now I'm not sure exactly. I think it'll be online. I don't think it'll be downloaded to that device though. But now you're getting a little bit above me, so we can ask Brian Keats too when he's around as well. Yes?
Which I teach U.S. history. If I have a third edition, it's still going to be covered.
If there's an e-textbook that exists for that edition, it will be there.
Okay.
So, yes.
We have used that this year for some students who struggle with reading. So like they have their regular textbook and they wanted that, so the parents bought through us the e-textbook, which they need to buy it through the school because they get a better deal.
Yes.
But that way when he's at home, because his reading is so slow, then for his homework he can have it read aloud to him.
Yeah, that's a really great idea, and you can do that not only with reading, but you could do it with science and history as well. Yeah, my daughter has a documented reading disability, and like we had to go jump through a lot of hoops to use like Learning Ally and submit her IEP and all of that. So this is just, you know, my husband actually was working for BJU Press back then, and we wound up going that way, and it worked so much. It was so much easier. Yes.
The Vital Source Bookshelf, is that a BJUP thing?
It is not. It's somebody that we've contracted with.
So do the kids have to go through Vital Source?
If
or
they
can
haven't,
they just play the
No, anybody that wants to use it, if they have purchased their own e-textbook, they will open it through Vital Source. And if they want it to read aloud, they'll access it through that app. Does that make sense?
The reason I ask is my daughter was teaching in China, and they used a lot of BJUP, and all the kids had e-textbooks.
Right.
And they would, so did they go through the app? I thought they just...
No, I think they must have opened it through the app. But you are getting
like
a little over my head. I'm not like an e-textbook expert. The guy that does that isn't here. But yeah, so I assume that's the only way you can open it.
All right.
I think that's the only way you can open it. Okay. All right, ExamView. ExamView is a really great resource. It is a test bank generator. So let me tell you up front who it is available for. Starting in 2nd grade and above, it's available for science. Starting in 4th grade and above, it's available for heritage studies. Starting in 6th grade and above, it's available for math, but it's also available for 3rd grade math because a new revision just came out and they added it. 4th grade math, it'll be available in 2019, and I'm really working on getting them to upload the stuff for the 5th grade math as well. And then once 7th grade above, it's available for, you know, all of those subjects. So you could have it for writing and grammar, literature, heritage. And ExamView is really great because it allows you as the teacher to create your own tests. So what you have to do is you have to go through the ExamView download, and once you download that onto your computer, you're going to get these 3 options. So one is the ExamView test generator, one's the manager, and one's the player. So we are going to look at the generator today because that is how you can actually generate the test. It is password protected because you don't want your students getting access to any type of testing material. So you can see it will come up and it will give us several options. I want to highlight 2 of those options. Number 1, create a new question bank. So if you want to add some of your own questions, you can do that through creating your own question bank. If you want to just look at the BJU Press ones, we're going to use create a new test from scratch. So when I click that, I'm just going to call it test 1. I'm going to hit OK. And then across the top here, you can see there's different icons. And these icons allow you to add questions in different ways. So the very first one is like random. So you can just be like, I want 25 questions, and boom, it'll create something. I don't really recommend that as an administrator. I think you really should look at what questions you're adding. So you have the option to select from a list. You can select by standard. You can select by criteria. I like this blue one with the binocular select while viewing. All right, so I'm going to click on that. I'm just going to grab BJU Press Algebra 2 and open that up. And one of the things at our school in China, the kids actually worked on their own level. So they worked through these books at their own pace, which meant that when we had these cumulative exams, our math teacher had to produce an exam individual to every child. Now, we didn't have that many kids, like we only had 12, but still, it's a big job. So the other thing in China is you can't have an exam that only has like 75 questions or 100 questions. You know, if you have a cumulative exam, it's got to have, you know, at least 150 questions to be a good, solid test. We don't agree with that, but so for demonstration purposes, I'm going to choose chapters 1 through 3. Let's say that I completed those 3 chapters, and I'm going to hit select, and now I have 3 question banks, and I have a total of 335 questions, which will please most teachers as well as the Chinese administrators that we reported to. And when you do that, it's going to come up by chapter. So you can see here the bank that we're choosing from right now is chapter 1. So you can choose to say, okay, well, I want all of these true and false questions. And then you can scroll down. You can say, ooh, I really like this one, and I really like this one. And then you might scroll down farther and choose a couple more. And then you say, okay, well, now I'm going to go to chapter 2. And what do we have available for chapter 2? And that bank's going to load. And you're going to say, well, I already did true and false, and I don't want to have just a bunch of true and false questions. So I am going to hit some of these multiple choice questions, and I'm just going to keep choosing different ones step by step. And then you could say, okay, well, chapter 3, that's our newest information, so I'm just going to click all the ones from chapter 3, and now I have 125 questions on my test, which would have been handed back to you by the Chinese administrator saying this is not enough. But anyway, there you go. You can see it generated the test. So it's right there. It generates an answer key for you as well. Another thing that teachers really like is you see right here it says IDA. You can actually print different versions of the test with the same information. So if you go here to the print option, it'll come up and it'll say number of test versions to print. So you could say, well, I want 3 different test versions. And then it also gives you the options. Well, do you just want to scramble the sections so that, let's say, if you all are taking the test, you start with true and false, you start with multiple choice, and you start with fill in the blank? Or you can say, no, I want to scramble the questions. They're going to just be all in a different order.
Or if you really want to, you can go in and actually scramble the A, B, C, D of the multiple choice. So like your correct answer might be A, but her correct answer might be B, but her correct answer might be C. So you can really scramble it as much as you want. So having kids that are sitting next to other kids that have like wandering eyes, you're not really having to worry about that because they can't get information off of the child's test next to them. Now, it will generate 3 distinctive answer keys. Okay, so just remember that if you have the children that get test A, you have to use answer key A in order to grade their test. Because our biology teacher came running into my office and he was like, "You're not going to believe it, Lawrence failed his biology final." And I was like, "Mike, there's no way." I mean, Lawrence had just gotten, you know, like a 5 on the AP biology test when he took it. And I was like, "There's no way he failed the biology." He's like, "He did. He pushed it across the test and at the top I saw B." And I said, "Mike, what answer key did you use?" He's like, "Oh, that was it." So he went back and he regraded it, and of course he hadn't failed. So you just got to remember that if you grade test A, you use the answer key A. So teachers really like that aspect. And then you can save those tests from year to year, and you can just go back and adjust them however you see fit. A lot of times when you saw there was, I'm not going to save it because I have no reason to. A lot of times teachers also will use these, like when it said there was 335 questions, well, you're not going to use all those questions on a test, so you can make quizzes this way. You know, you can go in, pull 5 questions off ExamView, use that as a quiz. So ExamView is a really great option for the subject that it's available. And we are, as we put out new revisions, adding additional subjects as well. So those will be coming. To be fair, as an elementary school teacher, I understand that this is a resource that I feel like high school teachers really do need more than I do. I will say that. So I can see the logic of starting in the high school and working down. So it is complete for the middle school and high school, but like we said, we're working on it to fill those gaps at that elementary level. All right, Shop Talk. This is what the gentleman was discussing, where you can go on through Teacher Tools Online, click on Shop Talk, post any questions you have, and the teachers can support each other through discussion there. You can interact and engage with other BJU Press users. So that is another aspect of Teacher Tools Online that's out there, as well as educational articles that you can read for your benefit. There's lots of different articles on handling different topics, classroom management, instilling a love for learning. And we also have just started a new segment of TTO, which is our professional development site. So in our professional development site, you can actually take classes, and really you took 2 already this morning. So you took Dr. Smith's What Makes Education Christian Part 1 and Part 2. So if you're interested in getting CEU credit through most Christian school organizations, you could go today when you finish onto the professional development site and click onto his class. So these are available on your own schedule. They're totally free, like we said, so I'm going to show you where you can find that right now. So this is the Teacher Tools Online website, and across the top here you can see is the professional development link. So when you click on that, you just say try it now, and a new browser pops up. That's because this professional development site is not in any way tied to your TTO account. So I don't want you to get confused and say, oh, it says sign in, I can use my TTO login. You can't. You have to actually create a new account. And how you do that is, here's Dr. Smith's class. When you click on it, it says take the course, and when you click on that, if you already have an account, you could sign in, but I'm assuming probably nobody does because I'm just telling you about this for the first time. So you would say, I don't have an account, create it. And once you create it, from then on, you can say, I have an account, sign in to proceed. All right, and when you do that and create that account, it will let you take his class, and his class has 2 parts. So there is a video, which you have already watched because you watched Dr. Smith live. So you could go in there and say, I already watched this, and click it as complete, and then you could take the assessment. And if you take the assessment and pass it at an 80% pass rate, they do give you, I think, up to like 100 tries. So I think you probably should be able to do it. If you're really struggling, reach out to Dr. Smith and he might be able to help you. Or you can always go back and review the video, and watch that part again before you try to take that assessment.
And once you do that, a certificate will be generated and sent to you, and then you turn that certificate into your accreditation agency, and they will accept it as, you know, either it's 1 credit hour, so it's, you know, 1 course hour. So I don't know how many of those you need in order to keep up your certification. So that is professional development. Does anybody have any questions on that? On how the professional development works? All right, so that might be something that you're interested in doing, or you could go and look and watch some of the other videos. Like we said, there's over 25 courses to choose from. And then afterschoolhelp.com is a really great resource because it's extra help when students need it. And that's when they're at home with their parents and we're not around to help them. We actually offer after-school help on anytime, anywhere, any platform. So you can do it on a phone, you can do it on a tablet, you can do it on a computer. It's a web-based program, and we offer support for language arts and math. We also currently do offer support for Spanish, but that really is tied to specifically to our Spanish product with oral reading, practicing their pronunciation. But in language arts and math, whether you use our language arts or math, it's totally free. You can use it. Language arts, we have grades 4 through 12 support. And for math, we have pre-algebra, algebra 1, algebra 2, fundamentals of math, as well as geometry that was just added a couple of weeks ago. And we have speed drills for the lower elementary. So if you want the kids to practice their math facts, there's no logging in. They can go on. It's a 3-second default. They can practice. It has very simple math facts like, you know, multiplying just 0, 1, and 2 at a time, or 0 through 12. So it's very useful for all grade levels. And then that support, like for the math, if your child is, if your students are studying Algebra 1 and they're studying integers, you know, they can go on, well, I don't even know what you study in Algebra 1 anymore, it's been so long. What do you study in Algebra 1? You can just go in and search that concept, and then it will send the students to a video, and it's either a teacher that's flipped their classroom who will explain that concept to the students, or sometimes it's a PowerPoint and there's a teacher talking through a PowerPoint. Now, like I said, you can use it whether you use our products or not. So like for math, it is, if you do use our math products, you can actually go in and choose pre-algebra and say section, you know, chapter 2, section 1, and boom, it takes the parents right where they need to go. Because parents don't always know how to help their kids in upper level math because they can't remember upper level math from when they were in that age. And like I said, for language arts, it's 4th through 12th grade support there. You're studying all the basic grammar rules. Here we're asking kids to place where the semicolon should be, and they're checking the answer there, so you can see they have to mark it and they can check it. There is also highlighting of subjects and predicates, so they're having to highlight the simple subject, highlight the simple predicate. They get immediate feedback. If they're really struggling, there's usually a PowerPoint or video clip where the teachers are going to talk them through and say, you know, you haven't got, like, this is what you really should be doing, and giving them a little refresher course there. All right, so that is after school help. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Yes?
Are you going to add the younger grades for after school help?
For the math?
Well, for English too.
Well, I don't know what's up next. I have heard through the grapevine that maybe 5th and 6th grade math is something, but what I would suggest is if you have a suggestion, send that suggestion either to me or to customer service, because like the voice of the people can be heard, and then we can say, hey, this is what customers are really asking for. I feel like there hasn't been TTO for kindergarten for years. And when I went and asked about it again, I mean, we've been telling them everywhere we travel, the kindergarten teachers want it, the kindergarten teachers want it, and now they're like, oh, guess what, we're doing it. And I was like, yay! So, you know, I really do think that if you have an opinion as to what you would see, also, like, what subjects would you like to see next? You know, like we've talked about, could we do something like Spelling City that's distinctive for BJU Press? You know, things like that. So if you all have ideas, okay, yes, I keep telling them that's what y'all want. So anytime, if you inundate customer service with emails saying, hey, we'd love to see that, you know, if they hear enough, then, you know, our combined voices can be heard. All right, any other questions? Yes?
If you're not using teacher tools online, do you have access to the professional development?
Yes, you do. It's totally free. Because actually, Teacher Tools Online has a free side and a paid side. So one thing I will tell you is if you have an account, please make sure you're logged in so you can see all your resources. And it will eventually log you out. even though you say remember me, and I contacted the IT guy from the press and I said, hey, you know, it keeps logging me out. And he said that's a security feature because there's so many things on there with the teacher's editions with the answers. We don't want it staying up in a teacher's room and then they leave to go somewhere and kids are there after school. So it will eventually log you out. So if you feel like, ooh, I can't find my resources, click log in again, even though it looks like you're logged in, and then they'll usually come up. Yes?
I've been looking into this in the science realm, and the one thing I wasn't totally sure, if I get an account, it's good for all my sciences?
It is, yes. And it doesn't even just have to be science. You can have whatever you want. You can have science, you can have history, you can have math, whatever whoever is in charge of TTO at your school, we call them the TTO administrator. It's a little confusing because we don't want them to think that the administrator has to be the TTO administrator, but there's usually an IT person or somebody that takes care of all this. So that TTO administrator will assign you whatever classes you ask for at one price. So I mean, you can have everything, 1st through 12th if you want it. So yes, so you can have all the different science classes. You can have them at different grade levels. You can have 7th grade science, biology. You can have all of it.
And that lasts how long?
It is, you get it forever, really, until if you leave and a new science teacher comes, they just get your account. And so the schooling pays for it one time.
And when the new edition comes out, we just automatically update
Yep, when the new edition comes out, actually you get access to all the editions.
Right.
So like those of you maybe that are, I'm trying to think of what's new this year. Help me somebody, what's new this year? History.
Because we use story instead of
Okay, or like biology, 3rd edition, 4th edition would be there, or whatever the 2 editions are, they would be there. You have access to both editions.
So we already have an account that we need to get our login for?
That's an admin question.
Yes. If you work in the elementary, you have an account.
Okay.
Not everybody.
So what your account should be is it should be your school email address. So if you say, well, they're telling me I have an account, but I can't find it, what I would suggest doing is go into TTO, type in your school email address and say, I forgot my password. If you have an account, we will email you a way to reset your password. If it comes up and it says, I can't find the account, then you need to go to your TTO admin person and say, hey, it's saying I don't have an account.
So at the beginning of this year, if you're at Niceville Elementary, I sent out an email to let me know if you want Teacher Tools Online. And everybody who responded was set up for Teacher Tools Online.
I think the question was what about Academy?
Oh, Academy?
It's not.
You have to contact Mr. Online.
I don't think Academy was.
No, we won't. It's an easy fix, like she said.
Who's the administrator for us?
They're asking who your TTO administrator is.
Your academy goes to Mr. Kleiner.
Yeah, I can't get it for you today, but if you email me, I will work on that today.
Very good. All right, any other questions? Okay, thanks so much. I think we have a lunch break now, and we're going to be meeting back in about an hour, I think. So,
yes, that's correct.
Depending on where you're I think if you're elementary, you're here, and if you're secondary, you're in the library.
If you are lower elementary and kindergarten, you're definitely in here. If you're upper elementary,